But there were 3 stages I think you talked about. And the one is, first there's something, then there's nothing, and then there's everything, that model. And it kind of reminded me of that. And I had the experience, of course, first of something, thinking, you're the body. And so before even knowing this,
I think
go
Neil's asked
slower.
just slow down
Okay.
for the out of respect for our
Translators.
long-suffering translators.
And, okay, the first was that we were something, the body. And then the experience I had was, and I just called it happening through grace, that I was no thing. And this talk reminded me of the experience where there was something in front of me, and I couldn't figure out, well, what am I seeing and who am I? My experience brought me to the idea that I was just the awareness, and what I was seeing was the world, I called it at the time. But even after the experience, I kept saying, well, where's my body? Where's my body? I couldn't figure out for a year since I saw you last. Well, where was the body in all this? I saw the world, but I didn't see my body. And then I stumbled across a book that I was reading by someone who calls himself Who, but he's a student of Sri Ramana. And he explained that everything else, including the body, is the same, the same material. Everything else is the world. Everything that is, everything that you can see, touch, smell, feel is not you. That you are the awareness. So I felt so lost because I could not figure out, it's kind of like if the tree falls, who hears it? If it's all an illusion, then it's just all an illusion. It's like I couldn't come to grips with the idea that I'm just awareness in this. And it's almost like when I heard Mary's question this morning, and it was like, it just appears that what is happening with the person is I'm so addicted. I'm so addicted to everything. The I, is so addicted that I couldn't, it's like I couldn't understand, I can't come to grips with because of fear or whatever, that I'm just the awareness, so even knowing this.
Okay, so can you, having given us that introduction, can you formulate your question?
My question is, how do you, even knowing this, that, even being shown this, I seem to not be able to stay with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, because the old habits we have been rehearsing the old habits of thinking and feeling for decades. So these habits have some momentum behind them. So one glimpse of our true nature, I am the awareness with which my experience is known, in which my experience appears, and out of which my experience is made, is not enough in almost all cases to put an end to these old habits of thinking and feeling. Very occasionally, we hear stories when this glimpse of our true nature did have the power to put an end there and then to the old habits of thinking and feeling. But it's extremely rare. For most of us, this glimpse of our true nature is an intervention in the normal flow of objective experience, and very quickly the normal flow of objective experience comes back to eclipse the presence of awareness which we have momentarily recognized to be ourself. So then, having had this glimpse, our work then, our practice, if you like, is to revisit it, to take pathways back to ourself over and over again.
Is that like meditation?
That is what
Those-
meditation is. Ultimately, it is a pathway. So in this respect, what we call here, or what is sometimes called self-inquiry, which is this investigation into the nature of ourself, is the ultimate prayer, in that it is a journey, or a journey that the mind seems to take back to its original state or its essence. And that is prayer. Now, some prayers, like some meditations, start by directing themselves outwards towards a God, or, as we heard earlier, some meditations direct themselves outwards towards the breath or a mantra. So these kind of prayers and these kind of meditations, the one that go outwards towards a God or an object, are perfectly valid, but they are preparations for the real prayer or the real meditation, which is the sinking of the mind into its source. The return of the mind to the I am, to God's presence from which it rises.
Okay.
So God, what is called God, lives at the source of the mind. It can never be an object. It can never live at the destiny of the mind.